As a result, he is also known as Kancha, or born in water. In the Sapatha Brahmana, Brahma is said to have come into being from the merger of the human priesthood with fire, the element which has long been the focus of the Vedic rituals. This suggests that Brahma's historical origins are closely related to Vedic sacrifices. In the Upanishad, Brahma gradually supplants Prajapati, or the Lord of creatures, the most commonly recognized creator god in the Vedas as the initial creator, assuming most of Prajapati's characteristic. The Mundaka Upanishad explains that Brahma arose at first among the gods, the maker of the universe, and the protector of the world. Such descriptions have previously been given to Prajapati in the Vedas. In Hinduism, Brahma is called the creator god that provided the causal force from which the universe was formed. Brahma is said to have a vast capacity for wisdom and is responsible for all the knowledge which has been bestowed among human beings and gods. Early Hindu folklore explains that when nothing exists, Brahma slumbers, and when he exhales, the universe comes into existence. After staying awake for a day, 2 billion years in the human conception of time, Brahma inhales and falls asleep again, ending the universe as it is known, but taking on its constituent back into himself. In later literature, Brahma becomes a more purposeful creator, rendering the gods like the gods Agni, Soma, Surya, and so forth, and assigning them to their correct stations in the heavens and upon the earth. Since Brahma is responsible for all the creation, he is thereby also responsible for the creation of every god in the Hindu tradition, including those more powerful than himself. This has been regarded as his greatest contribution. However, Brahma has apparently drifted out of importance mythologically until his next inhalation, slumber, and recreation. So now I will show you a picture of the Brahma and how he was depicted. I will share the photo with you. Let me see. Please. Yeah. I can share with you. Yeah, here you can see. Can you see the photo of Brahma just that I just share in?
Yes, Venerable, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so you see in this picture, Brahma is traditionally depicted with 4 heads, 4 faces, and 4 arms. The explanation of the 4 heads is found in the mythologies of the Puranas. There it is said that when Brahma was creating the universe, he also made Shatarupa, a female deity with 100 beautiful forms. Brahma was immediately infatuated with his creation, and Shatarupa, disquieted by Brahma lingering present, moved in various directions to avoid his gaze. Her attempts to circumvent Brahma proved futile. However, as Brahma developed ahead in order to see her better, regardless of which way she went, Brahma grew 5 heads, one facing in each the 4 cardinal directions, as well as one above the others. By this point, Lord Shiva has also grown weary of Brahma's antics, finding it somewhat unsettling that Brahma has become so enamored with Satarupa, who, at his creation, was equivalent to his own daughter. So in order to control Brahma's quasi-incestuous advances, Shiva cut off the top head. Ever since the incident, Brahma has turned to the Vedic scriptures in an attempt at repentance. Thus, he is commonly depicted as holding the 4 Vedas, and it had recites one of them. You can see the Veda in the picture, the Veda book. And Brahma is usually depicted with a white beard on each of his faces, illustrating the extended duration of his existence since the beginning of time. And not one of his forearms bear a weapon, which sets him apart from most other Hindu gods, because most of the Hindu gods has a weapon in his hand, but for Brahma, he doesn't have any arms. One of his hands is shown holding a spoon, which is associated with the pouring of the holy ghee or oil into a sacrificial pyre. This indicates Brahma's status as the Lord of sacrifices. Another hand holds a water pot, which is alternately depicted as a coconut shell containing water. Water is the initial, all-encompassing, either in which the first seed of creations was sowed, and therefore is of great significance. And you can see Brahma also holds a screen of rosary beads that he uses to keep track of the time. And we can show you another picture. So another picture in which Brahma was depicted sitting. Sorry, I have to share. So I have to share the screen again. Yes, you see here in this picture. So yes. Brahma, yes, okay. So sorry. Okay, so in the picture, you can see that Brahma was depicted to sit in on a lotus flower, which represent the earth, and his color is most often red, which represent fire, or else the sun and its creative power. But the worship of Brahma has declined in popularity due to Hindu preference for other deities. Now Vishnu and Shiva continue to be worshipped today, but Brahma is almost totally ignored. India has only 2 temples dedicated specifically to Brahma, in contrast to thousands of temples dedicated to both of the other deities in the Trimurti. The most famous temple to Brahma is located at Pushkar in Rajasthan state. So that is the concept of Brahma in the Hinduism. And now I will speak about Brahma in Buddhism. In Buddhism, Brahma was adopted from Hinduism and is considered as a protector of teachings of the Buddha. Since he was adopted, he was never depicted in early Buddhist texts as a creator god. In early Buddhist tradition, it was the Brahma Sahampati who appeared before the Buddha. It is believed that when the Buddha attained enlightenment, the Brahma Sahampati asked the Buddha to teach the knowledge that he gained. In Buddhism, Brahma is regarded as the part of the Buddhist cosmology. He is the Lord of the heavenly realm of rebirth, called the Brahmaloka. In the Buddhist culture, the iconography of Brahma varies along with the ideology, but normally he is represented by 4 faces and 4 arms, similar to the Hinduism. In some sutra, the term Brahma refers to all beings who live in the heavenly realms. In the ancient and the medieval Buddhist texts, there were mentioned 17 or more Brahma realms. It is believed that beings reach in these realms in the afterlife based on monastic achievement and karma accumulation. This text also mentioned that Brahma is referred to any deva resided in the heavenly realms. And we can say that in the Buddhists, we divide many kinds of Brahmas. For the first one is Arupa Dhatu Brahma. So this kind of Brahma is the deities that belong to the formless realm of existence who enjoy the highest heavenly pleasures in an afterlife. The second is Rupa Dhatu Brahma. This Brahma is the deities that belong to the anthropomorphic form realm of existence who enjoy moderate heavenly pleasures. Then we have Kama Dhatu Brahma. Is a kind of Brahma that belong to the lower heavenly realms of existence. And there is a very famous story about a Brahma who was converted by the Buddha. His name is Bhakka, Bhakka Brahma. I think that most of the Buddhists heard about this story. Bhakka Brahma appears in the Majjhima Nikaya, in the Sutta, where he is a deity who believes that his word is permanent and without decay, and that therefore he is immortal. And that he also believed that there are no higher words than his word. The Buddha refused Bhakka's claims, relating the concept of anicca or impermanence. But one of Bhakka's attendants, influenced by Mara, asserted that Bhakka is the creator, that those who praise him will be rewarded, and those who deny his powers will be terribly punished. The Buddha identifies the real speaker as Mara and states that he is free of his power, or Mara's power. Bhakka then states that it is futile to escape his domain, and which he imagined to be universal. And he points out that if the Buddha depends upon any of the things within Bhakka cognizance, he will be within his realm. It means that the Buddha will be within his realm, and Bhakka can act upon him as he sees fit. The Buddha responds that Bhakka does have this much power, but that there are realms which Bhakka knows nothing about, and that the Buddha's knowledge places him beyond Bhakka's power. And finally, Bhakka is convinced by a display of the Buddha's superior magical power and his ability to explain his present situation by reference to his past lives. Bhakka was in past life a human ascetic named Kesava, and by various means he saved many people from destruction. And for his meditative power, he was born at Faladeva, and in successive rebirths gradually sent through the level of the Rupa Dhatu until he became an ordinary Brahma. On another occasion, Bhakka believes that no monk or ascetic can enter his world through supramundane powers of manifestation. But the Buddha himself and several of the Buddha's disciples visit Bhakka Brahma to prove that he is wrong. Bhakka Brahma appears in the sutta named Bhakka Brahma Sutta and the Brahma Nimantanika Sutta. We also heard the name of many other Brahma, and one person called Mahabrahma. So Mahabrahma is the being who dwells in the upper heaven and is referred to as the king of heavens. He is mentioned in the Dikha Nikaya. So we can see that the Buddha, even though the Buddha accepts the concept of Brahma from the pre-Buddhist religions and tradition, but Brahma is used in a sense quite different from the sense in which it is used in Brahmanism. In the Vasetta Sutta of the Dikha Nikaya, the attempt to reach the Brahma that no one has seen is compared to the effort of the line of enlightenment. The Buddha said that some blind men follow one another and they try to come and to see the Brahma, but no one has seen the Brahma. So it means that the Buddha teaching that everything is impermanent, and he rejects the belief in the permanent substance that underlies everything in the universe. And the Buddhist theory of causality, paticcasamuppada, shows that if there is a Brahma, he cannot be uncaused, and similarly, he cannot be eternal or immortal. According to the Buddhist doctrine of paticcasamuppada, the universe is not the creation of a personal God or impersonal Godhead, but it is the outcome of causes and conditions, hetu and paccaya. Then we can see that Buddhism does not deny the existence of Brahma. There it speaks of Brahma Lokas and refers to Mahabrahma as the Lord of the Brahma Lokas. But in Buddhism, we can see that Buddhahood is higher than Brahmahood. The Buddhist text also refer to many instances when Brahma came to meet the Buddha. The Tevijja Sutta say that the path to the Brahma world is through the development of jhanas pertaining to the 5 material spheres. The Brahma worlds are known as Suttavasa, or the pure abodes. And how to become a Brahma and how to be born in the Brahma world. So it is by means of Brahmavihara. But before we go to the Brahmavihara, I would like to mention also some concept concerning with the word Brahma. It is Brahmacharya. So you can hear about the 4 stages of the Varnasrama Dhamma, followed by the Brahmins. They divide the life into the 4 stages. So these 4 stages are first Brahmacharya or studentship, then the Grahastha or householder, then Vanaprastha or forest entry, and the last one Sannyasi or renunciation. Here Brahmacharya meant merely the studentship, limited to the student days of one's life. But Brahmacharya in Buddhism is not limited to any particular period of life. It is valid for all stages of life and can be commenced by renunciation of the worldly life. It is somewhat parallel to the sannyasi stage in the Varnasrama Dhamma of the Brahmins. From this, it becomes clear that the brahmacharya in Buddhism, which developed from the pre-Buddhist idea, was identified as the path leading to the ending of defilements, resulting in the destruction of suffering. And we can hear also some terms like brahmacharya, brahmacharya. So it means that in the canonical text, the two terms Brahma and Dhamma sometimes are used coterminously. It means that it is like synonyms. For example, instead of saying Dhammacakka, we can say Brahmacakka, or Brahmaputa instead of Dhammaputa, or Brahmakaya instead of Dhammakaya. This illustrates very synonymous of the two terms. And now we can go to the last part of my talk is about Brahmavihara. Brahmavihara is a Pali and Sanskrit word which means living in the Brahma heaven. In the Buddhist philosophy, the Four Noble Practices of mental development through which men can attain subsequent rebirth in the Brahman heaven. So these four practices are, one is metta. It means loving kindness, or the sympathy which gives happiness to all the living beings. Two is karuna, or compassion, which removes the pain from the living beings. The third is mudita, or altruistic joy, the enjoyment of the sight of others who have attained happiness. So even though we say mudita is a joy, but it is not a selfish joy. We are not happy or joyful because we are successful, but we are happy because others are happy. It is called altruistic joy, or mudita. And the fourth is upekkha, or equanimity. It means being free from attachment to everything and being indifferent to living beings. Because the god Brahma is said to dwell with these four forms of love, they are known as Brahma Viharas, translated in English as divine abidance. So in Buddhist mythology, Brahma is a powerful god. In Buddhist practice, the four Brahma Viharas are associated with strength. To develop them, it means to develop metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha, we must become strong, even courageous. When developed, the Brahma Viharas becomes potent forces through which we protect ourselves and others. They are powerful aids for resolving conflict, promoting healing, and creating social harmony. As strengths, they contribute to confidence in all areas of life. In their simplest forms, the Brahma Viharas are attitudes experienced in ordinary everyday life. For example, seeing a small puppy can evoke loving kindness, a feeling of appreciation, goodwill, and friendliness. If the puppy gets hurt, we may feel compassion, a sense of kindness, caring, and a sincere wish for the puppy not to suffer. If the puppy is frolicking around, we may feel appreciative or altruistic joy. We delight in the happiness the dog feels. And when the puppy is overeager to run after a squirrel and then deflated when it can't catch it, we can feel the Brahma Vihara of equanimity. We can clearly love the dog with a stability that keeps us from becoming elated or distressed by its ups and downs. When the Brahma Viharas become strong, they are much more profound than our responses to a puppy. They enable us to keep love at the forefront in all our social encounters with anyone we meet, no matter how challenging. With love and kindness, we learn how to maintain a healthy goodwill for those who are hostile, to have a balanced compassion for those encountering tragic suffering, to experience a stress-free joy while celebrating others, and to feel an equanimous love for those we cannot help. Each Brahma Vihara is appropriate and right for a particular kind of circumstance. In uncomplicated social encounters, we can offer the face of friendliness and kindness. When people are suffering, we approach with compassion. When people are happy and successful, our appreciative joy shares in their good fortune. And when the other three faces of love are not appropriate or helpful, it is equanimous love that is present for the situation. Part of the power of the Brahma Viharas comes from the intention to love, not just the feelings or emotions themselves. When we appreciate others, metta is a basic goodwill that wishes well-being for others. When their suffering moves us, karuna is the wish for that suffering to end. When their joy delights us, mudita is the wish for their joy to continue. And in the particular circumstances, when we have no role in the welfare of others, upekkha is the wish that we ourselves not become agitated while keeping our hearts open and responsive, perhaps available for when we can help. Each time these intentions are evoked, they become stronger and more readily available to motivate our actions in the world. Now I move to meditating on the Brahma Viharas. It is a method, one of the very common and powerful method of meditation. While the Brahma Viharas are natural human capacities, they may be underdeveloped and unavailable when they are most needed. So in order to make them available at all times, specific practices, especially meditation practices, are useful for developing each of them. One of the principles of doing Brahma Vihara meditation is that it's best to start by summoning each of the Brahma Viharas towards someone who easily evokes the associated attitude, intentions, and feelings. Rather than trying to artificially make ourselves feel love, we can begin these practices by recognizing how we already experience the different aspects of love, even if it's only toward an endearing puppy. Once we recognize any of these four qualities of love within ourselves, the meditation practice is then to focus on staying present with this attitude so that we can get to know it better. feel it in the body and in mind, and allow it to grow. A big part of meditating on one of the Brahma Viharas is developing the ability to stay focused on it without being distracted by anything else. It is learning to dwell in love, to live in love. Once we are able to have a stable, undistracted loving focus toward an easy person. For example, our father, our mother, our friend, it is very easy to feel love towards them. So the next step is to think about or imagine someone who is somewhat easy to love, but not quite as easy as the first person. When we have developed a stable focus on this love, we again let it grow so it fills our body and mind. Then the next step in the practice is to progressively do the same for the people who are very difficult to love. Eventually, we practice cultivating love for those who are difficult. For example, people with whom we had conflict, or people who are hostile. Because it can be very challenging to cultivate love for those we had difficulty loving, the meditation practice can help us systematically and gradually we can discover and develop our capacity to love. This is not an easy task, but by undertaking it, we can discover the healing and wisdom that makes universal love possible. Through regular practice, it is possible to have unlimited love. That is, love which is not withheld from anyone. In deep meditation with the Brahma Viharas, the experience of metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha can become, as described by the Buddha, extensive, expanded, limitless, free from hatred and ill will. When they radiate outward in all directions of the compass without limit, the four Brahma Viharas are called the four immeasurables, appamanya. It is phenomenally transformative to be absorbed, the wise and loving thing to do in every situation. Developing the Brahma Viharas in our social life provides a double benefit. We benefit from the inner goodness they bring us, and those who are the recipients of our love benefits as well. So with this, I would like to conclude my Dhamma talk about Brahmas and Brahma Vihara. So I would like to repeat again. Brahma is a god, creator god in Hinduism, and at beginning it is very popular, very in the Hindu mythology, but lately it become less popular, but still many people are familiar with the god Brahma. But in Buddhism, Brahma is only a kind of beings who have been born in the Rupa realm or Arupa realm or even in the Kama realm. But by practicing meditation of the four Brahma Vihara, that is metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha. These four good characteristics we can cultivate in our daily life as well as in the meditation practice. And it's good not only for ourselves, but for those who are living around us. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk. and it is perhaps the time for the discussion. And I would like to invite Miss to conduct the discussion, please.
Thank you, Venerable, for the wonderful talk. Now, the floor is open for the question and answer. If anybody would like to ask question to our Venerable, you may kindly raise your virtual hand. If audience have the question,
Miss, what is your name?
Dolma, Venerable.
Dongwa.
Yes.
So are you Tibetan?
I'm from Ladakh, Venerable.
You are from Ladakh.
Yes.
So in Ladakh, do you think that the god Brahma is very popular there?
Venerable, we do have the concept of Brahma Vihara. Actually, we follow Tibetan Buddhism. So we do have the concept of Brahma Vihara in Tibetan Buddhism.
Yes.
And
how about Brahma?
No, Venerable, there is no concept of Brahma.
Have you ever seen a statue of Brahma in your real life?
No.
Yes. But we can see it here in Vietnam.
Yeah, okay. I've seen in the Hindu concept, but in Tibetan Buddhism, there is no concept of Brahma.
In here in Vietnamese temples, they also have the statue of Brahma with 4 heads. Because they believe that Brahma is the protector of the Buddha's Dhamma.
Okay,
like Brahma Sahampati, who requested the Buddha to teach the Dhamma to the people on the earth. So some Buddhists believe that without Sahampati, the Buddha makes parinibbana after his enlightenment. So they worship the statue of Brahma to show the gratitude to his request on the Buddha.
Yes, Venerable. In historical accounts, we do believe that Brahma requested Shakyamuni Buddha to teach the Dhamma, but in Tibetan Buddhism, there is no statue of Brahma as such. Like we do not worship Brahma. Yes. Okay. So, any question among the audience? Okay, so if there is no question, then we'll wind up the session here. Now, I would like to, may I request Venerable Sharse Khyentse Changchuk Choten Rinpoche, Deputy Secretary General, International Buddhist Confederation, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. Venerable Changchuk Chotenji, please.
Okay. Good evening to Venerable Okay. Good evening to Venerable Bhikkhuni Lieu Phap.
Good evening, Bante.
From Vietnam. We are extremely thankful to you for your acceptance of our invitation to teach online, and particularly in this session, you taught on the Brahma and Bhrahmavihara. This is a very interesting kind of topic, and Brahmaviharas are one of the most important topic that is taught by the Buddha, and that is kind of universally studied and learned in Buddhist communities all over the world. It doesn't matter from which background we come from. Will it be Theravada, will it be Mahayana or Vajrayana, whatever it is. So I do believe very strongly you have very kind of eloquently presented the Brahmaviharas, and your presentation definitely have helped great many people, and through them, I do hope that many people will benefit. And it's a great pleasure for the IBC to present outstanding scholars from different parts of the world on this platform, so that people get exposed to the kind of wider community of scholars and experts from different background and different parts of the world. In this modern kind of digital era, we have this advantage, which we are looking forward to take kind of complete benefit from it. So we do hope we will have you again on this platform to enlighten our brothers and sisters from all over the world. And it's a great pleasure for us to be able to present you to our audience. So thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to have you again. Thank you.
Sadhu. Thank you, Bante. Thank you again for your invitation, so that I can have the opportunity to share the Dhamma with our Dhamma friends. And I also wish you good health and prosperity in your life.
Thank you, Venerable Bhikkhuni Lieu Phap, and thank you, Rinpoche, for joining us. With this, we have come to an end of today's program. We would like to have you all for our next Dhamma talk. For more details, you may kindly visit our website ibcworld.org. Thank you so much for joining in.
Sadhu.